From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, we go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. And then we cut to the big exciting details as a $25,000 check is now in the works to be added as well. What's going on? I have all the incredible details in tonight's recording. We'll be cutting to everything that's happening with this recon, as now the president's poll ratings are dropping dramatically, and the president's scrambling to get this recon done sooner rather than later. I have all the latest details in tonight's recording. We'll be going over each of the clusters of checks that have been passed. $3.5 trillion of clusters 1, 2, and 3. Including a big world exclusive about where Medicare's new eligibility age is going to start at. Then we go, of course, back to the big surprise that no one saw coming, as an additional $25,000 of checks are being proposed to be added in. What is this check for? I have this all in this recording. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up. We'll be cutting back to third stimulus, which is still heating up. Big money across the board. And then we'll be going to what's going on with debt forgiveness, student loan debt forgiveness, as now the president says, I'm going to do it. What is he going to do it for? Boy, it's a big night with $25,000 of additional checks now proposed to be added to the recon. Oh, it's just starting. It's just beginning. We got a big night of Evenings LA. From the West Coast to the East Coast, from the North and to the South, it starts right here, right now on LA. Everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. It is a beautiful night with a big update for your fourth stimulus check of 2021 tonight. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we go over that, though, the big recon passed. $3.5 trillion of checks in there that would pay channels viewers about $15,000 just to start. This is cluster number 1, 2, and 3. They got it in there, and we're going to go over each of these clusters that'll pay viewers about $15,000. Cluster number 1, including hazard pay. Cluster number 2, including home repairs, and then a world exclusive with seniors with Medicare. Where is the new Medicare eligibility age dropping to? I have all the details. What are they changing? What are they not changing? Meantime, the big surprise that no one saw coming is $25,000 of additional sums of money. Yes, those are additional checks that are being proposed to be added in there. I have all the latest details in tonight's recording. It's a huge evening. We'll be cutting back to the dramatics of the big fifth stimulus, which is heating up. Fourth stimulus, student loan debt forgiveness. We got a lot tonight in this recording, and it all starts right here, right now. And this is LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. You're not going to see the breadth of this reporting anywhere. In fact, you're not even going to see it anywhere. Broadcast media didn't cover any of these details, and this is why the president's poll ratings are falling. The latest details in tonight's recording. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to the details starting right now. Well, we got cluster number 1's checks, cluster number 2's checks, and cluster number 3's checks added. And then the promise to add those IRS monthly stimulus checks, and now an additional $25,000 on top of that. Yeah, we got a lot coming up, and it starts right now with the first cluster of checks in that $3.5 trillion recon passed. Remember that all these clusters so far would pay viewers of this channel about $15,000 hazard pay. And elder care, $4,000, got into this first cluster of the $3.5 trillion recon passed in a House subcommittee 2 weeks ago. First, they got hazard pay in there by broadening the earned income tax credit, broadening its eligibility, and increasing the amount of payment for those essential workers. Then, they got up to $4,000 a year to care for the elderly persons in the household. Then, up to $4,000 a year to care for a young child. Grants to the college students, to the university, and to the student, and also the Pell's grant made tax-free. $51,000 a monthly stimulus checks got in there. Huge. This is the CTC, the child tax credit, broadened across the board. How much does it pay? Up to $300 every month, every year, to up to 18 years. As that household remains a low-income household, that is $51,000 of checks per child. Then they got money in there to repair the home. Yes, free money to repair your home if your home is in a low-income community. Then finally, they got checks in there for the bikes, cars, and trucks, all electric, all U.S. auto manufacturer. 50% for the purchase price of a new electric bike will be picked up by the federal government. $7,500 will come back to you from the federal government for the purchase of a new electric car. And then a little bit more if it's for a car for business use and a truck for business use as well. In a second, we'll go to the second and third clusters of checks. But first, the big exciting details is $25,000 of additional checks are now proposed to be put into this recon on top of everything that is in the recon so far. What's going on? This is huge. 3 Democratic legislators today, Maxine Waters, Democrat, California, Raphael Warnock, Democrat, Georgia, and Sherrod Brown, a Democrat, Ohio, proposed new legislation to be added to the recon that would pay you a check of $25,000, up to $25,000 upfront, cash check, to go buy a house. Wow, this is a big one. This would be a check up front to go buy a house. Eligibility? Just have to be a new home buyer. Competing legislation also being introduced by Ron Wyden. Not legislation I like. This would be $15,000, but would be on the back end. That's why I like the first one. This is huge. $25,000 again being proposed on top of this recon that pays channel viewers about $15,000 to start. Let's go to the second cluster checks. Those are home repairs and paid leave in the second cluster checks. And boy, these are great. Remember, the recon is all about America. It has nothing to do with COVID. It is for seniors, SSI, SSDI, single individuals, people all across the board. And it starts with paid family leave and medical leave. How much does it pay? $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or less per year, $70,000 or more per year. Split in half, $35,000 annual salary, that would be $800 a year. $800 a week, split it in half. $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. Pay family leave. You have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Pay medical leave. You have to stay home because your son broke his leg. Then they got other checks in the second cluster pass. These are household tax credit checks. And then dental, vision, and hearing. More about that in the third cluster. And then checks to weatherize your home. Definitely needed. Weatherizing your home if you're in a tornado area or a fire area. Weatherizing your home always needed, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House. And wherever possible, keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. There we go. Then they got pre-kindergarten, totally free, and tuition-free community college across the country. Definitely needed for the person who says, I don't understand LALATE. Now you can take the class called I Don't Understand LALATE 101. Now you can be fluent in that foreign language called Los Angeles. That's LALATE 202. There we go. In a second, we'll be cutting to the third cluster of checks. But first, what is Congress doing? Nancy Pelosi and the President of the United States have now said that the vote will be on your recon by October 31st. It's hysterical because since I started reporting this on Saturday, everyone's removing my preposition in the sentence. I said by October 31st, not on October 31st. People are saying to me, but it's Halloween. They can't vote on Halloween. Yeah, they can. They're always in costume. You thought that's really how they look? You thought that's really their hairstyle? No, that's yeah. Okay, anyway, there we go. By October 31st. And now people are asking me to explain what Nancy means by that. Yeah, me explaining Nancy's train of thought. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So let's go to the third cluster at checks. The third cluster at checks has a world exclusive, and here we go. We got seniors and free internet in this third cluster. And get ready for a world exclusive. Free school meals for all checks in this third cluster. Cheaper prescription medication, checks for free internet, checks for farmers, checks for clean energy, checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. A world exclusive. A viewer of this channel spoke to Bob Casey's office. He's a senator, he's a Democrat, and Bob Casey's office gives us insight that the proposed new eligibility age for Medicare will be 60 years of age, dropping it from 65. You know, there's a reason why I watch this channel, because guess what? The president is facing falling poll ratings dramatically. And why did they credit these dropping polls? Because no one knows what's in the recon. A new series of reports out today from Simon Rosenberg, who's a Democratic strategist, and another guy named Longwell, says that nobody knows what's in these recons. I guess why? Just guess why. Because they're not watching this channel. Broadcast media and print media not covering the recon, not telling you things are passing, not telling you what's in there. No one telling you about the $25,000 that happened today. No one telling you about the Medicare age dropping. No one telling anyone about these things. And as Rosenberg says, the president's decline is alarming. It's serious. That's why there's a sense of urgency for the president to get this done, because Americans don't know what it is unless you're watching here and you've learned. Two of the items in this third cluster the president particularly likes. I love them because they're instant savings to you. The first one is cheaper prescription medication. The second one is free internet. Cheaper prescription medication means you would go into the pharmacist and pay less right after this becomes law and instantly save money in your wallet. How this work? You go into the pharmacist today, say, "Hi, Mr. Pharmacist, I have a really bad, horrible migraine headache." "Oh, really? Have you been listening to the moderate Democrats?" "I have." "How do you know that?" "Mr. Pharmacist, seats for stimulus." "Yeah, seats for stimulus." "Can I have a prescription for this?" "Seats for stimulus." "No, I need a prescription for it." "That'll be $40. You take two $20 bills out of your wallet. Then after this becomes law, they'll slice the prices in half, and you may only have to take one $20 bill out of your wallet. Then they're going to really give free internet. You'll just reach out to your city, counties, and states across the country, because they will be given fortunes from the federal government to offer you free internet. All you have to say is, "What's the username and password?" The username is lobster sauce McConnell 202. And the password is Pelosi $12 ice cream. There you go. In the second half of this recording, we'll go over more about how they're adding in and how they're taking out from the recon. But now let's go over the dramatics of what's unfolding, first with the student loan debt forgiveness, and then we're going to go into those IRS stimulus checks. Well, student loan debt forgiveness, big surprise. As in the last few days, the Department of Education has now forgiven more student loan debts. First, they forgave it if you became disabled. Now they're forgiving it if you've worked in a nonprofit or a federal or a state or local government job for more than 10 years, your debts will be forgiven. Then the president's now indicating he will forgive debt if you're $10,000 or less. So he'll forgive $10,000 of debt. Of course, the Democrats are still pushing for $50,000. Where there you go. The big exciting details with these IRS stimulus checks are that the Democrats are still pushing to put it in there. Here's what you need to know is that going into the weekend, last Friday, Debbie Applegate reached out to Chuck Schumer's office, and Schumer's office said, yes, he's putting a forced stimulus check in there. This follows what was said to Donnie's wife the week before this. This is huge. Why? Let's go over why it's important that Chuck Schumer is part of the equation. Because the following, we currently have a recon, not a bill. It's a package. It's currently in the House subcommittee passed. It'll pay viewers this channel generally about $15,000 under this recon in various different checks. But it's not a bill. When the bill is introduced to the House floor, maybe it has that monthly stimulus check in there. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, they could still add it in by changing the bill before they call the vote on the House floor. Then, let's say it still doesn't have it in there. Then it goes over to the Senate. This is the big point. The vote-a-rama. The final 2 days of the entire process is called the vote-a-rama, in which the Senate proposes changes to whatever is given to them from the House. I don't like this thing from the House. We got to change this. Who governs the vote-a-rama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines what's called for a vote? Chuck Schumer. Who determines when it's called for a vote? Chuck Schumer. And who wants to put a provision in there of a monthly IRS stimulus check? Chuck Schumer's office says no less than twice in less than the last 7 days. This is huge. And this is why advocacy starts here. And this is the message that came in from Bernie Sanders' office. Bernie Sanders' top aide in D.C. had a conversation with a viewer of this channel last Friday in follow-up to the exclusive I told you the week before with Bernie and this channel. This viewer then sent me a message, which you see in front of you, that details the conversation. Now remember, this is an aide, top aide in Bernie Sanders' DC office. This is not a staffer. This is not a secretary. This is not someone who buys the purple shirts for the TV host. This is a top aide. She said that in total through yesterday, which was last Friday, Sanders had received nearly 1 million and continuing and growing contacts from LALATE and the Purple Power. 1 million of you have reached out to Sanders' office. The advocacy is making waves to the congressional hallways. This is the first time many Senate and House members, of staff, and officials and their staff have truly ever heard from the people. And now they not only have heavy hearts, but a renewed sense of urgency to help out to us and keep up the good work. Our advocacy has been so strong, so heartfelt, and so polite, not just for ourselves, but also for the communities. There we go. It's a big evening, and we're just getting started. More about these incredible dramatics and these details coming up. I'll be going over what is going on next with the incredible insertion of provisions into this recon and how your stimulus check can be in the next one. We have all these details, and it's coming up as Evenings LALATE returns in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LALATE, direct from Santa Monica, as we continue over this incredible recon and the provisions being added, taken out, and going in there. We'll go over more about the dramatics about that $25,000, and then we'll be cutting back to the exciting details of what Schumer and Sanders are saying for these IRS monthly stimulus checks. We'll be cutting over to this recon, because guess what? The recon will pay viewers of this channel upwards of at least $15,000 to start. But there's more items that are coming on in there, and I have all those items. Then we'll be cutting back to third stimulus, which has paid viewers of this channel upwards of $40,000 to $80,000. I'm going to go over how you can get this big money if you haven't gotten it as well. We got a big evening, and the excitement starts right here, and it starts right now. And this is Evening LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is our new hit show, Evenings Countdown. This video will automatically take you there. Then at 6 o'clock is Street and Stimulus. Excuse me, 7 o'clock is Street and Stimulus. 8 o'clock is Sirloin, and then we go into our evenings programs. And with that, subscribe. Let's cut to the big surprising details that no one saw coming. And those details are what's going on with this channel and Bernie Sanders' office. Sanders' office explains that they have never seen anything quite like the advocacy that's coming on in. Let's explain what's at issue here. What's going on right now is that there's a lot of different forces advocating, but no one's advocating for our items except us. And that's what Sanders' office says. They have never seen anything like this Purple Power, with 1 million calls in just 8 weeks advocating for so much money. Sanders' office is very aware that this channel is Republicans and conservatives and liberals and Democrats, red states and blue states, all different walks of life, single individuals, married couples. But you're all advocating for the same thing. And that advocacy is the face of what's going on externally, which is that broadcast media has literally not covered the recon. And a series of new reports today suggests that the president's poll ratings are falling because the Americans don't know what is in this recon. There's nothing for them to be excited about because they're not being told by it by broadcast media. This is why this channel exists, and this is why it's working for you. Now, what's important to understand is that we have this massive recon, and that recon has everyone battling over it. Here's what's at issue. First, there's things in the recon. Then there's things not in the recon. The things that are in the recon, people are trying to protect them. Last Friday, Maxine Waters, the illustrious elected official from Los Angeles and head of this House Financial Services Committee, was concerned that a $300 billion provision in there for rent may get removed. How big is that? It's very big. The third stimulus was only $47 billion for rent. This is $300 billion. She's worried it's going to get removed. So she started going on the push to make sure it stays in there. On the other side, other people were saying, you know what? Lobbyists and everyone else is stepping forward to push to get the items into the recon that aren't in there. Lisa Rice, president and CEO of the National Fair Housing Alliance, in a new quote says, we have coalitions of all industry groups pushing to get provisions added into the reconciliation bill. Guess what? Does it sound like someone? Yeah, it's us, Pearl Power. We're here advocating for the inclusion of those IRS stimulus checks. Nowhere else is any group advocating like we are, and that is why Congress has never seen anything like this channel and you. And that was that incredible message coming in from Sanders' office. And that is why they said, keep it up. And with that, let's go over what advocacy looks like and what advocacy has done for you in this channel. It started 8 weeks ago when I said pick up the phone and advocate, and you picked up the phone and you called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, and advocate for the inclusion of a monthly stimulus check. And WR picked up that phone, called Coons, and Coons' office said, yes, go in there. Coons is a longtime friend of Joseph Biden. And shortly after that, I said, pick up the phone and continue to advocate. It was over the 3 weeks ago where this channel started to deliver a lot of exclusives, and all those exclusives really picked up. Number one, I told you that the House subcommittee would be writing the legislation. They did. Sheila Jackson, the number 2 in the Progressive Caucus, writing that legislation 3 weeks ago. I told you that the House subcommittee would call for a vote. They did 3 weeks ago. And then I told you that Bernie Sanders was brought into the equation. I said he was critical. And then he made that statement. Bernie Sanders said, unlike prior budget chairmen, I like to get out amongst the people when I'm doing a recon. And boy, what does that mean? He wants to hear from you. He wants you to pick up the phone and advocate to him. And I said, pick up the phone, and Brother Joshua did. Lynn, Glenn, and Margaret did. And boy, did they ever. They really advocated. And they were all told a stimulus check is going in there. Now let's go over what advocacy is and what advocacy isn't. Advocacy involves telling your story, picking up the phone and saying what you need. Advocacy involves a series of sentences, all with periods, not with question marks at the end of the sentence. Everyone has a unique story, and it involves you telling your story. Maybe it's something about your family or your businesses or your finances or your medicine or your town. I need it because this is what's going on with my back. This is what happened with my divorce. This is what happened with my family, my church, my town, my business, my community. I got to tell you why I need it. That's what Sanders' office said in that aid to the viewer on Friday. They've never seen anything like LALATE. Why? Because I showed you the importance of how to express yourself. I said, do not focus on the town or the city because they may not know your town or city. They certainly know the states, but they don't know the town or city. But they can certainly understand your story. And that's how your story resonated so well with them. Now let's go over what's not advocacy. What's not advocacy is asking a lot of questions. Asking only questions. When is there a check? When is the vote? When is the date? When is it happening? Who is it? Is it in there? Is it not in there? How much is it? When is it going out? Am I eligible? When is it going? Will they vote on the 31st? Will they vote on November 1st? Will they vote on the House? Will they vote on the Senate? That doesn't get anyone anywhere. It doesn't get anyone anywhere. Asking all these questions. Today alone, I've had a lot of questions come in on when Nancy says she's going to call the vote by the 31st. Does that mean that the Senate votes on the 2nd and the Senate vote? Well, first of all, no one knows what Nancy means. That's the first thing. Second, you should never be focused so incredibly detailed on what hour of the day of November, of October, of 30. Never. You should be focused on advocacy, because advocacy is what it is here. Now let's look back and understand what Brother Joshua and Lynn, Glenn, and Margaret did. They picked the phone and they advocated. Brother Joshua really advocated for that inclusion of that stimulus check, why he needs him, his family, his church, and his community, and you. He's a 2020 volunteer at the community page, and he picked up the phone and he advocated. And Santa's office said, yes, thank you for your advocacy. We're going to put it in there. $1,000 to $1,300, 3 to 6 months. But we need to hear from you. We need to hear from you. And I said, pick up the phone, and that's what Donnie did. Donnie, you met his wife early in this video. Well, let's meet Donnie. Here's some screen grabs you're going to see from viewers of this channel, from either the private messages on social media or also on the comments of the channel. And here's what Donnie did. He heard my message, and he picked up the phone and he advocated. He writes that I picked up the phone and I called Bernie Sanders' office. I said, this is what I need. My city needs it. My community needs it. And they said, yes, they're putting a forced stimulus check in there. Then more messages came in from Yaya, who picked up the phone and called Ron Wyden's office. Here's Hurricane Tina, who picked up the phone and called Bernie's office, and they said, yes, it's going in there. Carolyn advocated for the inclusion. We're losing our homes. We're losing everything we got. She told Sanders' office. Sanders' office said, yes, it's going in there. And here's Yaya to Ron Wyden. We need that SS200. And they said, yes, it's going to go in there. Advocacy involves telling your story to as many people as possible. Janice, who's been in the show, in the live chats throughout the day, boy, she has called 6 offices. She never, in any of the live chats, ever says, will they be voting on the 31st of October? Will they be voting on the 30th of October? Will they be voting at 2 p.m. No, she never does that. She rather says, I picked up the phone and I advocated. I picked up the friggin' phone and I advocated. That's what Will does also. He picked up the phone and called 3 offices. He called Bernie, he called Chuck, and he called Liz. And he told them what I need. I need my family. It'll make a huge impact. And all 3 offices said, yes, it's going in there. And Liz Warren's office said, yes. $1,400 is $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Here's Larica. She picked up the phone and advocated to Bob Casey's office. And they said, yes, they're currently in negotiations. 1 million viewers have called Bernie Sanders' office. And thousands of viewers have been told by Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden that a monthly stimulus check provision is going in there. They were told the same thing by AOC and Jalopal as well. And the messages keep on coming on in from Lorraine. And here is Mark, who picked up the phone and called Nancy Pelosi's office, advocated for that inclusion. And Pelosi saying, yes, going to do it. $1,000 after the first month of $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Messages keep on coming on in. Here is Lynn Glenn to Jalopal's office, advocating, and Jalopal's office saying yes. Here's Ida to Omar's office, them saying yes as well. $1,000 after the first month. And here we go, going into last weekend. Chuck Schumer's office, telling Deputy Applegate, after they said the same thing to Donnie's wife, that Chuck Schumer will be doing it as well. That's the face of advocacy. Now, remember, do not sit back and think that everything is wrapped in a bow. You have this massive recon that has stuff in there and doesn't have stuff in there. The stuff that is in there, people are worried it's getting taken out. As Maxine's Water, worried that her rent aid is going to get taken out. There are people pushing to put things in there, like the $25,000 to go buy a new house. There are people pushing to put that in there. There are people pushing to put your stimulus checks in there. Everyone is pushing to advocate for something else to be put in or taken out. You got to push down to the finish line. There is no time or place to sit back and say, I called in September. Did you call in October? Did you call this week? You have to keep on advocating until we're over the finish line. Now let's turn to how the whole situation of this recon is very much in flux. The Democratic progressives all last week said that whatever's in there is staying in there and whatever is in there is not getting reduced. But is that going to be the same situation this week? Let's see what they went over, what they said last week and what they said what happened this week. I'll go over the duration changes and the taxes. And it's very fascinating. It starts right now. First, The progressives all last week said that anything that's in the recon is staying in the recon, and anything that's in the recon will not get watered down. Maxine Waters is not so believing of the situation. That's why she said, wait a second, don't water down my rent aid of $300 billion and don't take it out. So a lot of progressives are concerned that things may get watered down or taken out to bring the package from $3 trillion into the twos. But on the other hand, last week the progressives said the two ways you can fix it are modifying the duration and modifying the taxes. First, the duration. It was the start of last week when I said if you modify the duration, you get this recon from threes into the twos. And then just a few days later, Jalopal said the same thing. How did I know that? It was not that difficult to predict that exclusive. Bernie Sanders said this in July, before we had any recon. Bernie went into a meeting with all the senators, Democrats, and said, I want to do a recon. Oh, really, Bernie? How much? $7 trillion. Not going to do $7 trillion, Bernie. Come up with a new number. Okay, I'll cut it in half, 3.5. Okay, deal, done. Called it for a vote. Passed in the Senate, passed in the House. That became recon procedural, passed and became a law. Then that recon substantive passed in the subcommittee 2 weeks ago in the House. So what did Bernie do to get from 7 to 3.5, and why does that give it an indication of how we go forward? He cut the duration of the programs, he told us at the time. This is fascinating. Let me go over a simple mathematical calculation, simplifying the situation to show you how it works. Here are just some numbers as an example, just an example. Let's say all the programs in the recon at $7 trillion were 20-year programs. He went in there saying, I want $7 trillion, 20-year programs. No, we're not going to do it. Okay, we'll split them in half. 10-year programs. That makes a $3.5 trillion. Done, deal. That still got you up to $4,000 a year to care for the elderly. Instead, it was a 10-year program, not a 20-year program. So then how do you get from 3.5 trillion to a smaller number? You know what the answer is. Cut the duration again. Instead of 10 years, for example, cut it to 5 years, which cuts all the programs half the duration. And then suddenly, instead of 3.5 trillion, it's 1.7 trillion. Done. That's a number every moderate Democrat would agree to, 1.7 trillion. Done. Now, the other way they can do it on the back end is changing the taxes. This is a little confusing. They want to raise the corporate taxes and change the wealth tax among billionaires to close up corporate and wealth tax loopholes. They're concerned that if they reduce the recon, that they're going to leave the loopholes there open. Interesting. So it's still a little bit battleground over these situations. But what's important to understand is that we got about 20 days to go. We have progressives like Maxine Waters worried that items may be taken out of the recon. Progressives like also Maxine Waters and Ossoff and Sharon Brown, trying to add in $25,000 of checks in that recon. For a recon that really already pays you about $15,000 at least just to start. And then, of course, we have the Democrats vowing to add those monthly stimulus checks provisions in there as well. Again, two ways to do it. On the House side, on the Senate side, you want to keep those senators in your corner because the 2-day vote-a-rama at the end is so critical. During those final 2 days is when they can modify anything that's been done up to that point and change it however they want to change it. And there you go. And with that, let's go now into the big exciting details of this big third stimulus, which has a lot more money available for you right now. And when third stimulus became law, I said I can get you about $15,000. Well, I've been getting viewers on average about $40,000 from this third stimulus. So get that pen, paper, cell phone ready because I can get that money for you right now. This is where financial independence starts, and this money is available right now. I have viewers like Johnny and two others several weeks ago who started the week at zero. By the middle of the week, 3 of them were at $40,000. By the end of the week, Johnny was at $80,000 from 7 items. We have Sheena, which I'm going to show to you in a second. Last week, she started zero. Because of my recording, she ended the week at $6,000. So let's go over some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, SNAP, clothing, food, appliances, and more. And it starts right now. First, with the rent, we're going to reach out to 6 places. They have different eligibility, different pots of money. If one says no, reach out to the next. Also, they have, listen to the keywords I say in this video. It helps get you approved and then get ready for the nonprofits. The nonprofits are really doing great work. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out for that rent. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, and your state house authority. And the key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There you go. And how much is the rent? Let's look at it. A month ago, the rent was $20,000 for Nisi, Purple Hawk, all the way up to $27,000 for Elizabeth, Purple Hawk. Now, in the last 30 days, has grown to $40,000 routinely from viewers of this channel, like the incredible Janice. Then, when we turn to utilities, the money for utilities has gone up a lot. I want you to reach out to all utility companies. If you got 5, reach out to 5. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. Third, I want you to, if you're a member of this channel, read the newsletter. Inclusion of that statement from Treasury. Treasury sent out an additional $13 billion of money for rent and utilities to your cities, counties, and states. And I told viewers to read that before you make the call. That's what Prina did. Last week, she started $0. She ended the week at $6,000 from this channel. I hope she's getting more money this week as well. Here's what she wrote. Hey, LALATE, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Because of you, when you said the extra $13 billion going out to the states, I automatically pounced and emailed the city of Austin. I applied. Now I've gotten $6,000 for 8 months, November to January. Wow, there you go. Next, we're going to get some money for SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from Department of Agriculture, and everyone's SNAP benefits are going up an average of 25% a lifetime automatically starting in October. These are the SNAP benefits a month ago. Now they're going up a lot. Mark's brother-in-law is sitting on $26,000. SNAP is money for food. You get it from Department of Agriculture. And despite whatever comment you see in the chat, because I saw some strange comments this morning, everyone's SNAP benefits are going up. I've seen all very bizarre fake narratives. Only going up in some states, untrue. Only going up with new SNAP people, untrue. Everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% lifetime. Then, the nonprofits. Wow. So those nonprofits are really wonderful. First, I'm going to show you 5 nonprofits. They pay for all the items that are generally paid for under third stimulus. So, if you have an eligibility problem, don't worry. The nonprofits do different eligibility than the federal government and city and county. Here are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. They're also featured in the newsletter. Second, the nonprofits pay for items that are never provided from the federal government. Like, for example, they help for homeless people into shelters. They help sometimes with clothing. They sometimes provide and have provided to viewers of this channel appliances like refrigerators, furnaces, and small portable heaters. They sometimes do nominal repairs like a broken window. So reach out to the 5 nonprofits, and remember, Salvation Army is doing holiday gifts now in October. They are United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Next, the unemployment benefits. First, the refund check from your state due to overpayment. Yeah, it's landing. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. And then the refund check from IRS for that 2020 tax return you paid taxes on the unemployment benefits. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. If you got any of these sums of money, post it in the live chat right now. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The link is in the description. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, get that emoji behind your name, and get that newsletter. Daily sent out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, from the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. Totally free, by the way, that LA alert system. And it details all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus for you to get. When third stimulus became law, I immediately told viewers I can get you about $15,000 from third stimulus. I was wrong. I got viewers on average about $40,000. A lot of viewers have gotten far in excess of $50,000 to $80,000 from third stimulus, and they're still getting items. They're getting items multiple times. I've had viewers get rent in 2020, early 2021, and now are getting into late 2021 into 2022. That is the reality. Just like fourth stimulus, this recon that so far exists, I think I can get you at least about $15,000 in this fourth stimulus recon. Same situation. The only difference is not law yet. In that member newsletter, I feature all the big money under first, second, third stimulus for you to get, and I want you to get it because financial independence starts here. And with that, let's go into fifth stimulus for just a blink of an eye. Fifth stimulus heats up, and boy, it's going to heat up in a few weeks. Fifth stimulus hopefully goes for a vote by December. What is involved? The SSI and SSDI reform. First, they're going to reform the system for everyone. Who? You. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSDI, and also multiple beneficiaries. Number two, they're going to raise everyone's benefits up lifetime, one big time. Wow. Then they're going to apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. Where's inflation going? Where's it not going? In September, I told you it was going, no, I think it was August. I told you it was going to go to 5%. Now they all say it already is at 5%. I told you it's going to be temporary. Now they're saying, yeah, it's maybe a little bit longer than temporary. So this is huge because once your benefits, because they're going to apply that as your benchmark for the new benefits. And once your benefits go up, they never step down. They're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And then they're going to remove the marriage penalty, which prevents you from getting married. Now, viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. Love is going to win, and you will no longer fear loss of benefits. And as we go into a big evening, here's what you need to know with third, fourth, and fifth stimulus all heating up at the same time. Number one, third stimulus, lots of money for you to get. Get it now. This is real money. I want you to get this money right now. For one, it's financial independence. Number two, it takes you into 2022. Number three, it prepares you for getting the big money in the fourth stimulus. Remember, there's a lot of money for you in this fourth stimulus. Viewers are already saying, how do I get these items? I'm loving that because I'm going to show you how to get all these items in the fourth stimulus. Number two, fifth stimulus heats up later this year. Number three, fourth stimulus, a recon passed $3.5 trillion in a subcommittee. That's not a bill. That's not the final form. It's just a package. It has a series of items in there, pays you about at least $15,000 to start. They're looking to add in items like adding in $25,000 to go buy a new house. And then they're looking to add other items, as they represent to viewers of this channel, monthly stimulus checks as well. You need to advocate. Why? The tow truck is the recon procedural. It passed. It's law. Already gone over the finish line, the tow truck. Then they attached the tow hitch. That $3.5 trillion recon passed in that subcommittee. But that's not over the finish line yet because they haven't called that for a vote on both the House and the Senate side. Understand that there's other trucks and cars on that highway trying to cut in front of you at any moment. Lobbyists for the restaurant unions, lobbyists for the hotel unions, everyone's trying to get something into the recon and take someone else's item out. Get inside that truck, get inside that tow truck, and drive it over the finish line. Put yourself in the driver's seat. Don't be dependent upon anyone else. Advocate and get the big sums of money available right now. And meantime, join me next as we got a whole slate of programming coming up tonight on this channel. Coming up next is our hit show, Evening's Countdown. This video will automatically take you there. Then at 7 o'clock is Stream Stimulus. 8 o'clock is Sirloin. 9 o'clock starts our overnight shows at 10 and 11:30. And with that, subscribe. A 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, do not miss Overnight's Crypto, currently playing live on the channel. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, always keep it positive, always keep it motivated. It's going to be a big week. It's going to be a big 20 days. And with that, stay with LALATE for more.